Well, if you had any questions whether Google Chrome would eventually morph into Gemini, here's a little more proof of that. As reported by Barry Schwartz over at Search Engine Roundtable, the Chrome tab is slowly transforming into a de facto Gemini portal. You have deep search and create image functions now allegedly being tested. And this is going to be big because this is going to bring a lot of new people into the whole Gemini space, right? Most people, when they're using AI and they're tinkering with things, they maybe are using ChatGPT. A lot of them aren't even on Claude yet, and many more are not on Gemini yet. This is going to bring those Gemini features directly to the consumer. So this was first spotted by Glenn Gabe, and he explains that the new tab page in Chrome is looking more and more like Gemini, as you can see here. And you can see options for deep research and create images. So just like you would see if you open up Gemini, you have different options underneath your prompt window. So now bringing this into the actual search space is huge because, of course, it's going to push out a lot of the normal organic results that you typically SEO professionals would try to optimize for. But it's also going to, I think, enable a much more consumer-focused user. It's going to enable a lot more consumers the ability to use these Gemini features because a lot of them aren't going to go into Gemini per se, right? To use stuff like this. So I think this will open up Gemini to a lot more people, which is, of course, is what Google wants. It's similar to like deep research, right? It isn't your everyday sort of normal keyword research, like where you type something in and then you get very standard results. This is more of AI digging into your query. This process is powered by Gemini, and it's the process of finding a number of web pages that are hyper relevant, understanding their context, understanding the intent, understanding the relationships between concepts. It's not just about reading text on a page, it's about piecing information together and synthesizing that from a variety of sources, right? So the objective here, of course, to find more comprehensive answers for users. So where it used to be that you would type in a search query in Google and you would get your top 10 results, and then you have to sift through those to pick apart information. I remember back when I was in school many moons ago, you would do that process, and it would take you a long time to do the adequate research if you're writing a paper, let's say. Now, it looks like that research time is going to be cut maybe by 80% or more because you're going to have that synthesized information with complete citations and all that right there for you. Now, people who've been using Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT for a while, and we know how to do deep research. Perplexity, of course, is a very good one for that. It has been for a while. But this is going to enable, I think, much more of that kind of consumer-based user. It's going to make it a lot easier for them to access these features. And for people who are doing SEO, it's going to be a lot tougher. That's going to use up even more of that coveted search result page real estate. Always try to optimize for. And of course, the create images is another enormous feature from Gemini that uses the Nano Banana image generation tool. I think I did make a video on the Nano Banana 2 update a while back and just how powerful that is. Nano Banana, one of the most, probably the best image generation tool on the AI market right now. And now the average user is going to have the ability to create those images right here in the AI mode in their Chrome browser. If you thought you were getting too many AI images on Instagram and places like that before, it's going to be like 1,000-fold now. So now I don't want to be one of these people to freak out and say, oh, this is the end of search and all that. So let's just go over what this means for businesses. If you're a business owner, if you're a regular person, like a consumer, if you're a content creator. I think for regular people, quote unquote, this is going to be the biggest advancement, in my opinion, because a lot of people, like I said, they haven't really used Gemini a whole lot. And this is going to introduce them to that whole world of its full capabilities, right? And so let's say that you're going on a trip and you're looking up the best family-friendly things to do in Hawaii or in Rome or somewhere, and you want the average cost of a family of 4. With this information, it's going to cut your research time down so much, 80, 90%, maybe more. And it's going to give you those very specific answers. I think it's going to, there's a lot of positives there, right? Like people, if you're planning a trip like that, if you're looking to improve your finances, figure out costs, I think things like that, it's going to help a lot in that regard. It's going to give you those quick answers based on real information, combining real information together. And that could be very beneficial for people for budgeting and things like that. It's for content creators. This is going to make the process of creating basic content a lot faster as well, because you'll have access to the Nano Banana. And the one thing I do have a question, maybe this will be the end of stock photos, or at least we're coming up to that. For business owners, I think there's a couple considerations. One, there's the consumer aspect of, well, this is easy for my team to go in and create images and things like that. And maybe you don't always want to be in your Gemini account. You want to use this as sort of a supplement to that or whatever. But then there's also the side of it of, well, all my target customers are now going to be using this feature. So if I'm selling shoes, or if I'm an e-commerce brand, or selling even just, a service-based business, anything really, how can I use this to my advantage? And I think it's really going to come down to those solid kind of AEO, AIO, GEO, all those fun acronyms kind of combined together to make sure that you're going to be showing up for these kind of responses. Like the deep search responses are going to be a lot of no-click type searches, right? Because deep search, you get an answer, you're done. But if you're asking something like, what is the cost of plumbing in my town, and who is the best plumber in my town, you want to be coming up for that, of course. So it's going to be very incumbent on businesses to just be that much more diligent about getting reviews and trying to get positive reviews if you can, and that sort of thing. So we don't have a lot of information on this yet. We can see that it's just a kind of a vague announcement at this point, but I think it just drives home what we've already been aware of for a while, and that is Google is pushing out the normal search, and they are going to replace it entirely with AI mode here in the relatively near-ish future. And so there's no reason freaking out about it. You just have to be ready for it, and that's why I'm here to help. So with all that said, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.